I wanted to do a video on a item, an art item that I would absolutely want in the future. And if you couldn't tell by this photo, I would love to have a Magic the Gathering art book. I'm shocked that it's not done. I would love for them to do it like by set. So we're gonna kind of go through a couple pictures, well, a few pictures here, and we're gonna start with Ancestral Recall from Alpha and Beta. For those who are not fans of MTG, just it's an old set. There's some pictures in here that are not from the same sets, but I think the older Magic the Gathering art was really the best. So I just kind of wanted to take a look at some of this art, because it's so unique. It's so different than a lot of the stuff you kind of think of when it comes to like fine art. So I'm just gonna take a look at these. Very cool. Weird proportions, weird art, very different than yeah, a lot of stuff. Some beautiful stuff here. I'm surprised that they've never done this. Look at that piece. That's really cool. Not all of these are the same size, so doing my best. I tried to find as high quality pictures as I possibly could of these, but yeah, that's a great piece there. Great land drawing. I don't know where this art would kind of sit, and like what it's kind of defined as. I don't know if it'd be considered fine art. I don't know if it would be considered like, it's definitely not comic book art. It's definitely painted, but you can tell that these artists sort of were inspired by stuff that you would see kind of like in Dungeons and Dragons manuals and stuff like that. Here we go, oop, the world famous Black Lotus, probably the card that everybody knows. Man, it's so different because it's not perfect enough to be fine art, you know. Kind of when you think of fine art, you think of like, I don't know, you think of like Michelangelo and people like that, but it's so different. It's hard to explain. I keep saying it over and over again, but all I can think is like Dungeons and Dragons stuff. I actually own a print of this one. That's a great piece. Therese Nielsen, probably one of the best Magic the Gathering artists. So such an amazing piece. I love the paint and the color. I'm a big black and white fan, but and I'm a big comic book art fan, but yeah, I just don't understand why this isn't a thing. I feel like it would sell so well if they just made a book of like high quality photos of these cards. Because there's some great pieces in here, some great iconic stuff. Dark Ritual. Man, I hope these artists got their original pieces back. Demonic Tutor, that's a great one. I love that art. I don't know if these artists actually sell their originals, like the original paintings, the original works, but I'm sure they could probably get a pretty penny for it. Yep. Man. I love this piece. Is that a Christopher Rush? Christopher Rush is great. Man. Just blown away by this stuff. It just kind of takes you to a time period. I was a huge Magic the Gathering fan growing up, and I always wanted the cards that had the cool art. I never wanted the cards that were good. Sometimes the good art was on the good cards, but sometimes it wasn't. Sometimes it wasn't. Yeah. How cool is that? And Magic the Gathering art, I don't think looks the same now as it used to. You know, I hate to sound like a grandpa, but it's true. This one's very cool. Oop. I could probably zoom in here, but here we'll zoom in a bit here. Very cool Fungasaur. Very comedically funny card, but yeah. Looks like Gandalf. I think this card came out in like 94. Gloom. Great piece. I wish these pictures were a little bit more high quality, but man, I love it when somebody could figure out paint. I think I have some doubles of pictures in here, so when I hit the doubles, it'll be like the end of the video. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool stuff. My favorite card, Hypnotic Spectre. Just looks so cool. Some of it's weird too, very weird stuff. That's a newer piece. That's a remake of Royal Assassin, which I do actually have the original in here, but I like this one too. Great anatomy. That had to have been drawn, obviously, and then painted over. Most of these, I mean, I'm not a painter, but I'm assuming that that's what all painters do. Mind Twist. This one, well, that one's weird too, but this one is very weird. Yeah, I mean, when you think about these cards, you think about like what they do. You don't think about the art a lot of the time, but man, these artists are giving it their all. Moat, that's a great one. That's a great piece. Some Bill Sienkiewicz, like color work there. Got herself Royal Assassin. I like the older art better than the one that I showed previously. Yeah. And it's sort of like, because like you look at the cards and there are certain colors in the game, and this card, like for instance, is black, and it's sort of kind of conveys that image of like darkness, and horror, and it's very cool. And then you get Sarah Angel, which is white, and Shivan Dragon, world famous Shivan Dragon. I think this card back in the day, everybody wanted this card. The art's pretty cool, but it's just so iconic you can't not, talk about it. Just so well drawn and well painted. Swords to Plowshares, great card, great art, legendary. Such a different. This is like a Dali or Picasso like piece. Very cool. Great card too. How do you not love that? Man, that's so cool. I love things like that. I could just look at that forever. It's called Tundra, and it definitely looks like a tundra, that's for sure. And then we got Underground Sea, which is one of the cooler lands. And then we got this one, which is also very cool. I, Wizards, you should definitely get on this. Wizards of the Coast, you should definitely get on this because I think that this would be a book that many people like myself would want. Art enthusiasts would want. You know, if you could just put these paintings or pieces of artwork kind of in like a higher quality, man, I think a ton of people would buy this. I certainly would. I certainly would. Work with Taschen or something, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if that's a possibility, but I would love to just have a book that just has that in it. You know, you could just open it up at any time and just look at it and kind of study it. Because, I mean, your inspirations for art are going to come from totally different places. Like, you know, somebody may look at this and go, I don't really like that. I think it looks stupid. And then some people go, man, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. You know, and, you know, artwork is probably what sold this game, you know, to a lot of people. They're probably like, man, the art's pretty cool. And then you stop forgetting about the art, and then you know what the cards do, and you don't really pay attention to the art. But man, this art is, yeah, somebody slaved over this for sure, and man, what a great piece to kind of come out of. And so yeah, I just kind of wanted to make a video on like a piece, something that I wish existed would be a Magic the Gathering art book, and I think a lot of people would be interested in it. So, all right, thanks, guys.